And welcome everybody to Extraordinary Investor. And we had a terrific session last time. And this is our second session. We're going to be talking about how high flying desires. And most people would call them goals, but goals doesn't have a real high vibration, if you will, and high flying desires do. And so we'll take a look at that. And so this is very interactive. We're all going to be, talking, sharing with each other. And in fact, let's start out with, first of all, Ross, I want to thank you very much for sending us that email. And so if you guys didn't get it, that she sent on that she has multifamily units available. And right now she has one in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And if you're interested in that type of investment, please let her know. So Ross, I really appreciate you sending that to us.
You're welcome.
Do you want to give us a little, how do you find these, or where are these coming from?
No, they come from friends of mine that are also real estate investors.
Awesome.
I basically like one-on-one. I'm a landlord, but it interests me to get into multi-family units.
Yes.
Friend of mine in Michigan has this.
What's that?
A friend of mine in Michigan has started.
I see. Oh, that's awesome. How great is that? And are these what we call hip pocket? In other words, they're not on the MLS, and these are friends, investors that have them for sale?
No, it's all personal. It's
all
not
personal.
Yeah.
Cool. And so typically we call that hip pocket as far as it's not on the MLS and it's personal. So those you can get good deals on. And
That's right.
typically because they're not on the MLS, so a lot of people don't know about it, and it's word of mouth. And typically it's just better for investment. So if any of you are interested to get more information, Ross has it, and you have all your emails because when I send out an email to you, that all your emails are on there, and so you can see Ross's email on there. And Ross is in Chicago and had lived in Israel and owns condos, and so that's why she says she's a landlord. She owns a bunch of condos and is looking for some more good deals, and so I love that.
And I think everyone is looking for a good deal.
I think you're right. And then the other thing, some of you had mentioned that you were maybe interested in apartment buildings. And so I believe he's the #1 apartment buyer seller in America. He's done over 10,000 apartment buildings. I just have, within the last about year and a half, we've had a couple apartment deals where we've had the investor, or in one case it was an agent who found the deal for us, but they made like one investor made over $1 million on it, and another investor is making about $12,000 a month cash flow from it, and they didn't have to put in any money. They basically found the deals, and we were able to get the financing, and it was a good deal. But his name is Brad Sumrock. So and I'll spell that for you. But Brad, I personally know him, have been to his events. He normally has events with like a couple thousand people in the room. And what's cool about that, they're all investors. Well, of course, because of the pandemic, whatever, that he's having more of these virtually, but you can hook up to other investors, and they're not necessarily just apartment investors, just like you guys are looking at, typically some different type of investments. So his name, and his the website where you maybe want to sign up for his information is Brad, B-R-A-D, and then Sumrock, and I'll spell that for you. S is in Sam, U is in underwear. I don't know if that's the one you use or not, but M as in Mary, R as in race, O as in Oscar, K as in kick. So Brad Sumrock, SUMROK.com. He's an apartment investor master. And he actually calls his what he does apartment investor mastery. And so that's just another good thing for another resource for you. And you might maybe be able to find other investors there and then other, properties, kind of like we are, if you will, because there's all different type of investment groups there. And with that, hey, Angelica, good morning. That you weren't with us on our first session,
Good morning. Yes.
and good morning, welcome. And can you tell us a little about the type of investments that you've been involved with, like with Rebecca and everything, and a little about yourself then?
Yes, definitely. Thank you for having me. And I did listen to the recording for last time, but yes, thank you. This is great. I love to be here. Yes, so what we have been working with investors that are looking for, of course, a good deal, distressed properties. We come across several. It's just because of word of mouth, just because we've helped other investors buy and get it done quickly, and they have really good deals. We've worked all over the Metroplex, Fort Worth,
DFW, yeah.
DFW Metroplex, yes. So Fort Worth, there's one currently in Athens. Um, it's just been all over. We help them find the deal. And run numbers, run the comparables, because we're the expert in that field, and
Yeah.
so they trust what we have to say. We have the numbers, we have the pictures, and we have some contractors that we work with that will do the work, the rehab, and everything at a really good rate.
Yeah.
So they keep coming back. So we've
Right.
got several investors that keep asking us, hey, you have anything else, because once they rehab, I mean, they sell really, really quickly. Our first deal, I want to say, was it's in the Oak Cliff area. It's called Bishop Arts.
Uh-huh.
So, they got it at a really good rate, completely redid the whole house. I mean, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And they definitely, the investor is like, you have any more of those? So yeah, our eyes are always open. And I guess, through MLS, or I'm not exactly sure, but there's a lot of people reaching out now saying, hey, do you have any more cash deals?
Yeah.
And then
Right.
we have
Right.
one currently under contract in Arlington, which is in between Dallas and Fort Worth. And that one's about to close here in about next 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then you had a couple close within like the last month or something, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
then, yeah, and then just so, Angelica is a business partner friend with Rebecca. And then Rebecca, we're actually doing about $1 billion of different investments right now, currently. One of the reasons that is we have a couple of big investors that have about 300 million. And then there's lots of other investors. And so basically, we really, they do investments all over the country. They actually have, most of the investors are in California. And Rebecca goes out there every other month to talk to those investors. And then here in Texas, and so they do a lot of investors in DFW, but they have properties actually all over in like Arizona, as well as California and Texas. And so if there are deals, these investors don't care where it is. They're looking to do it. And I share that with you just to, and thank you so much, Angelica, for sharing all of that. And so, they're doing business, and so if you want to get a hold of like Rebecca, kind of manages that whole investment. One that you can just contact me and let me know, and that I'll give you her contact information in case that's another opportunity for you to get going. So I want to get into today, but did anybody else have any other thoughts, questions, comments before we get going? Anything about what you liked a couple weeks ago? Any thoughts on any of that?
Well, I like your meditation. Very,
Ah,
yeah.
great, great. Yeah. In fact, so let's talk about and just review briefly the meditation. And if you want other meditations, other guided meditations, I have them.
Oh,
And
good.
so you just need to ask me. And so it's all part of the program. And so, you know, you can text me, email me, whatever. And so I always send out a recap and the recording. And so you get that today or tomorrow. And you know, if you want to, you can just reply back. And that's why it's important. Make sure you have a pen and paper and you're writing down this information, because you're going to hear things today that you know you weren't aware of, that you know it's a good idea, maybe you were aware of, but it's a reminder for you. And so want to make sure that you have that. But it's not just for meditations. You know, it could be for relationships and basically really connecting with God, if you will. And so last time, our first session, that's what we talked about, is this how to build a winning and prosperous mindset. And it's different than most people think. We've been told that, hey, we just got to work hard and we got to, you know, really focus on it. But the meek inherit the earth. And what that statement means is the meek are the ones that are quiet, relaxed, and in this meditative state. And again, not all the time, but like first thing in the morning, I would strongly suggest you each meditate. And I'm going to, like, if you want to, I've called paraliminals as well. And in fact, Angelica is aware of the paraliminals, but it's a way to get really into your subconscious mind and to be able to improve your thinking and whatever. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a special session on this. But it's how to improve your memory. So if any of you want to improve your memory, it really is magical on how these different paraliminals do. But that's all behind the building a winning and prosperous mindset. And so again, all you have to do is ask about that. And then the importance we talked about in our first session on breathing. And so this idea, in fact, let's all just do it right now. I'd like you to just sit back and breathe in deeply, 5 seconds, and then relax and blow out 5 seconds. Just get relaxed and breathe in and breathe out and breathe in and breathe out. And again, so that's about 10 seconds each breath, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. And just tell yourself to relax and ask yourself to quiet your mind. We have that chattering mind, and we'll talk about this in a few weeks, but we have this chattering mind that's saying like, hey, why'd you do this? I'm so mad at this, and you know, whatever. And what breathing does is it connects you with your source, with God, with all that is. And it also, like on this, to increase your memory, you can actually tap into your memory. You have a divine memory, if you will, that remembers everything, the subconscious mind. And you can actually tap that into that. So like if you're taking an exam, or you know, you want to remember somebody's name or whatever, just be quiet. What most of us do is we get tense and say, man, what is that person's name? Or where are my keys? That's a good one, you know. Where are my keys? Where are my keys? And if you'll just relax, know that the answer is here, and just breathe deeply, sit down, relax, And if you do that for about a minute, which means about 6 breaths, okay, 10 seconds, right, in and out for 10 seconds, about 6 times, and the answers will start coming to you. They can also start coming to you about, hey, I'd like to attract. You have to ask. We see that's the key too, is to have this this mindset, this prosperous mindset, is part of that mindset is we have to ask for what we want. And so it's not like, oh, darn it, I want, more investments. It's, hey, I'd like to have, like Ross would be saying, I ask for now more condo investments that are near me, that are easy, that are a good deal. And you can have that, because here's the way that life plays is when we ask, that goes into our emotions, if you will. So it is asking, you shall receive. And the process for that, we ask, and that creates emotions for us. And now those emotions are our signal to God, all that is, the universe, whatever word you want to use, that is our signal that we send out in our message. And God receives your prayer and instantly receives it and answers it. And so step 4 is that we have to come up and vibrate with where God is with that. There is a condo. And the beauty of this is when it doesn't matter how the markets are, that when like, oh, there's no inventory. Well, if you say that, that's your prayer. If you say there are no good deals out there, that becomes your prayer, and God will make sure that you don't get any deals, and that you won't find any deals out there. But when you ask, that God makes more of it. And a specific example, just to prove that, if you will, for our conscious minds to say, well, how can that be, or whatever, is just imagine 50 years ago, there were no billionaires. Now there's over 1,500 billionaires. And by the way, billionaires were made within the last year, because all the last year was change in the world, and change brings opportunity. And so if you focus your attention, turn your cheek, and you focus your attention onto what you desire, and so I want a good deal, and you'll see a good deal that come out of the blue. So what you ask for, God makes more of it. So it doesn't matter what's going on right now in the world or your life or whatever, that you can literally have anything that you want, but you have to believe it then. And that's step 4, is to allow it, to believe it, and to expect it. And so to expect miracles. So one of the things I'd suggest you write down is, today, I expect miracles of prosperity. Okay. Or you can say it, I want miracles of prosperity today. So I want miracles of prosperity today. See, we keep on thinking we got to do the work. And so, some people say, well, hey, I just want the deal, or I just want the lead, and it's like, no. The way this plays out, you'll get everything you want when you have the right mindset and when you ask for what you want. So it's critical that we ask for what we want. And so it's all about this present moment. This is where all our power is in the present moment. And so any thoughts, comments about that?
I have a question, Dr.
Yes, sir.
How, and I'm sorry, I've got my notes here that I'm taking.
Yeah.
So how important is it that the ask is specific? So I want a client, in my case, a consulting client, or I want a condo, or I want a 3-bedroom condo on the 8th floor in Florida.
Yeah.
What's
Excellent question. So, because the Father does the work, you don't want to get into too many specifics, because what you may think with your analytical, your smaller mind, hey, I want the 8th floor on that because of the view or whatever. God, if you will. And are you guys comfortable with me using the word God? is everybody comfortable with that? And again, if you need to replace that, but it's just easier to do that. Some people, get mad at that word. It's their upbringing, basically. And they feel they've been betrayed. And this is the answer, by the way. We haven't been betrayed at all. We're getting everything we asked for. And so to be more general. So for example, that for you, Russell, to just see, and really for all of us to see, that I ask for now more clients. I love having more clients. Remember, there's two things that our analytical mind should be used for, and it's to identify what we want and why we want it. And the reason why that is what I want. So I want more clients. I don't want Joe, who I just talked to, necessarily. Okay, what I want is I want to build a thriving business. That I want opportunities to come to me to be able to consult or to invest or whatever it is. You just fill in the blank. And I know, Russell, with you, that you're looking for more on a consulting basis. And so I'm looking for great clients. I'm looking for the best place for me with a great view and near water and in a wonderful neighborhood, great neighbors. All that is great. But to say I want it on the 8th floor in this particular condoplex, because God actually already knows what you want. And so it's all a matter of here you are at A, if you will. God knows of what you want, and here the path is. And so when you keep it general, that way you can have it better than you are asking for. So you thought the 8th floor was really good, but actually the 12th floor has a beautiful view and a better view because there was a building in the way on the 8th floor, just as an example, okay? And so to kind of keep it a little bit open. Now, to go beyond that, because of the reason why we use the word, why we say we're also supposed to identify why. So I want more clients. Why do I want more clients? Oh, I just love that it'll help me with my confidence. It'll make me feel good, that I love being able to serve people, that I love making lots of money, and I love money. And we'll get into money as we get in here, but I want you to all to build a better relationship with money, because most of us have been bad-mouthing money for all of our lives. And so you have to think of money as a being, as a almost like actually Angelica and I, Angelica coaches with me, and so yesterday we went down, and we'll maybe do this at some point if you guys have an interest, but we went down into God's garden and then into our money playground. And what fun that is. And that's where you start imagining, having all the money and everything. But out of the woods came these men that are that look like money. They're dressed in like a money suit, like $100 suit. And they're dancing like this, and their knees are going up, and they're dancing out, and they're coming right to you. In other words, money is coming right to me. Money is dancing to me. And so that's another good thing to write down, is I love that easy money is dancing to me now. Easy money is dancing to me now. And understand that why I'm saying this right now is I channel, and so I get this information from divine intelligence. I didn't have this on the agenda. I've never, in fact, stated that sentence in that way ever before. But I was told, so it's the perfect words for you guys. This is coming in, so it's kind of from God's mouth through me to you and into your ears and hearts and minds. And but that's a great one. That easy money is dancing to me now. And it's like, yeah, I love that. And so, but see what this does is when you use your imagination, so think of imagination as God's playground, that God has given you an imagination, and whatever you imagine and are thinking about often enough, that you're going to start seeing in your life. It's going to start showing up. And so, and some people think it's all about money. It's really about us feeling good, but understanding that money is this energy, this positive divine energy that we've received from God, that is available to all of us as much as we want. But if we keep on saying, oh, we got so much debt and I got to pay off debt, you're praying for more debt. Okay, you can't be saying it. You ask for more money instead of not the debt. You can't focus on debt and think about, so the statement there is, you can't focus on what you don't want. In other words, you can't think about what you don't want and expect to get what you want. That's pretty powerful, huh? And how many of us have been thinking about things we don't like? I don't like there's not enough deals. I don't like there's, not enough whatever, condos. I don't like my debt, whatever. And that becomes a prayer. Does that make sense? Oh, Angelica, I think we lost you. Hey, Angelica, we lost you. There you go.
Hi, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, we can. Good. Yeah, you're on now. Yeah, we lost.
Okay, sorry, got disconnected.
It's all good. So thoughts about that? Yeah, Russell? Were you going to say something there?
No, it's just powerful to remember, because our brains will naturally go to what we don't want we don't want the debt, we don't want the bad deal, we don't want the client that doesn't follow through, we don't want the investor that drops us at the last minute. It's all the things that we don't want, and it's hard, and you're not saying don't worry about those things, but it's hard. To your point, you can't think about what you don't want and expect to get what you do want.
There you go. And so let me help you a little with that. And so it's a great learning opportunity.
Yeah.
And whenever I say it's really hard, that's my prayer. And it's going to be really hard. You're never going to get to wherever you want to be. So we are and here's the background, Russell, behind why is this the case, that basically we have been brought up to watch out for strangers, to be guarded, to look for the bad. Oh, look at those bad people over there, that, the news, brought up with the news that, our parents would probably invest far more energy on what we were doing wrong, and that's only their opinion, by the way, than what we were doing right in their opinion. And so we basically have been brought up, in fact, that, and again, our parents did the best they could, and maybe you're the lucky one that aren't in that situation, but most people, are and have been in that situation. And growing up, your peers, whatever. And so we get this idea about we're always looking at the bad. I mean, that's what news is. They invest millions of dollars to search the world to find some bad stuff. And I'm not going to get into any examples on that, but basically everything that's happening right now, it didn't affect any of us if we didn't allow it to, right? We're all alive. And so is, by the way, 99.6% of the people. But they keep on bringing this up, and whatever you focus your attention on grows. So that, yes, we were brought up to focus on typically the negative, the things we don't want. We were told to be guarded, don't talk to strangers. That's why, we're afraid of other people, and public speaking is the number one fear, over and above death, and all of that. So what's the solution? Well, the first thing is, don't be looking at what is. Whatever is happening in your life, remember, thoughts become things. And so whatever's happening right now in your life is really just old news. It's your accumulated thought, and the thought that you have of the wanted and unwanted that came into your experience right now. That's how it is, period. The scientists have proven that, quantum physicists have proven it, molecular biologists. I mean, all of science has proven this, that thought to create things. And so if we keep on looking at what is.
Oh no. Have we lost Dr. Hank?
The doctor froze up again.
You did.
Russell, good morning.
Hi, Chet.
You're
I'm on
frozen.
I'm on vacation with a half of people in the apartment in the house, and I'm trying to catch this. So
Well, that's very good.
Oh, okay. You're back. No.
No,
No, he's not back. I know my internet cut me out as well, right in the middle of the meeting.
Can you guys hear me now?
you're
Yeah.
No. No.
Chet, you are so funny. I didn't hear a peep from you until I lose my voice, and then you say, "Hey, I'm going to actually just give me a second. Turn down a little bit. That's so fun. And so back to that, we are so conditioned to look at what is and think that's real. And all that is old news. So if you'll start thinking about that as not putting a charge, the other thing is whatever is happening and you don't like it, don't put a charge in. You get in an argument, don't put a charge into it, because remember, a charge is an emotion that is a signal being sent to God, and that's your prayer. So and your prayer is, I want more of it. Whatever your charge is, you're sending out, I want more of it. So for us to stop looking at what is and instead start thinking about what will be. And wow, I just love that I'm getting healthier. You know what a fun one I have is I love getting younger every day. Isn't that great? Because see, if I start saying, oh, I'm looking older, or if I start saying, oh, I got wrinkles, if I start saying, oh, that's my prayer. And there's no way on God's earth that I'm going to do this. In fact, I was just sharing with my wife, Sharon, a couple of days ago on, I am so happy that I understand life now. And now I want to live a long, long time because I understand how life plays. And I'm living in heaven right here on earth. And so can you. And this is one of the keys is don't be looking at what is, instead be thinking about what will be. And I just love that but in the present moment. So I just love that my business is building now. I just love the investors that come out of the blue. I love the properties that I now attract, that I'm a magnet. And so another good one to write down is I am a mental and spiritual magnet attracted to me. So I am a mental and spiritual magnet attracting to me all things that bless and prosper me. If you would just say that all the time, be thinking that all the time, there's no other choice than you'd be blessed all the time and you'd be prospered all the time. Did everybody get that one? Yeah.
yes.
It's powerful. It is powerful. And so that's the key, Russell. So was that helpful for you?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Okay, good. Yeah. And so stay general and kind of look at it as building, an investment. And so let's say, so a home, a condo, a apartment building, whatever type of investment that think about that you're just kind of do the outline of, let's call it a house, okay? That you do the outline of the home and, there it is, it's sitting on this property and you got the outline of property, and then let God fill in, because God can perfectly fill it in for you, right? Let God fill in where the windows are, how big the rooms are. Okay, and so if you think of it that way, so it's not, gee, I hope Joe buys this for $50 million. That you're getting too detailed. You're doing God's work, and so God does the how, and so we're used to that we do that we're supposed to do the how. We're supposed to figure it out, and
Yeah.
it isn't our job with that. So great discussion. I appreciate it. Love it. Let me get this up just to make sure that somebody comes off here. Okay, good. Now, another thing that I had sent you was a timesheet. And in that timesheet, I had suggested in the email that you take this timesheet and look at what type of activities are you doing? And you could just do this in the next, if you didn't do it already, did anybody do that? Did anybody measure on their time? And that's fine. But I would really recommend that you take this timesheet and take the first 2 days, just 2 days, just record, kind of like every half hour or whatever, what you're doing, okay? You will be amazed on how you're not doing much. Productive, that's productive. So to better do this exercise, and why I kind of gave you a heads up on it, if you will, but now why I want to go into this a little bit more, is I'd like you to identify what your high payoff activities are. In other words, what are the things that are most important that will get you what you want? So let's see, what did we have on chat? You're looking for like single family rentals, and so you're looking for single family homes you buy and then you rent them out. Is that accurate? Yeah. So Chet, what would be your key activities that I call high payoff activities, HPOAs, okay? High payoff, what would some of your top high payoff activities be in order to get these houses and rent them out?
It would be looking at more deals and making more offers. And the law of averages, I'd probably acquire more.
Got it. Okay, good. So looking for more deals
Making more offers.
and then making more offers. Got it. And then do you need any other like, how is the rental? Is it easy to rent once you get it? Is it pretty easy to rent so you don't need to focus on that too much?
I'll have to start focusing on it being easy because it's hard. So I want to do more rent to own because they have more skin in the game. So I want to move from renting to rent to owning. So that's my goal.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So the next thing, and again, this is how all of us are, is that we think, here they are. And when we start thinking about it, because, again, I don't know anything about your business per se, but when you said you rent them, that was another part of the equation. So I wanted to see, because, you said, hey, look for more deals, do more offers. Well, also to attract more renters to then own. And so that would probably be your 3 high payoff activities. Is that an accurate statement?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. And then if you looked it up and said, like, how much time would you invest? And this has to all of this has to do with really identifying what these high flying desires are. And we'll get into another section to look at that. But if you could break out, just use 100%, what percent do you want to look at more deals, and then how many offers, and then how much rent? How would you kind of break that down?
Well, probably right now I'm in the middle of rehabbing, so a lot of my attention is working on finishing up the rehab. So I don't have as much time to focus on the other activities. But as soon as I get a couple more things off my plate, I'll have more time to focus and delegate to those other activities, which will bring me more deals and the more right people I'm looking for.
Got it. So actually, it's a high payoff activity then to do the rehab, and that would be probably the third one. In other words, look at more deals, make more offers, complete rehabs, do the rehabs, And then
Right.
because you have to do that in order to then attract more rent and that become owners, rent to own. And I like
Yes.
that idea about they got more skin in the game. So it's a brilliant strategy. I love the strategy, and all of us can learn from that. So now you're up to 4 high payoff activities. And if in the ideal world, how would you break those down as far as the amount of time? Saying 100% of time, that how would you break those down?
Probably the exact reverse of what I'm doing now.
Well, guess what? Welcome to the club. Welcome to the family. That just about everybody's doing that. So what would it ideally look like? Look at more
Well,
deals.
ideally, I would be finding more of the deals and delegating more of the jobs for people to do to give me the more high payoff would be finding the deals. That's where the money's at. And then attracting the right rent to own buyer tenant.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So it helped with clarity, and really this helps. So all of you, I want you to be thinking about what are your high payoff activities, and then to kind of put it in a percent. So it's kind of sounding like to me that you'd like to look at more deals 40% of the time. Again, I'm just making this up, then we can redo it, but then attract more renters to own 40% of the time, and 10%. Is that close? Or
Yeah, that sounds like it would be a better payoff of
yeah,
my skills.
yeah. And so let's take a look at that what could you do? And you mentioned one of the things is you mentioned delegate. And so before I get into that, I want all of us, or give me if you would give me how much time a week right now, Chet, that you look at more deals, how many hours might that be, just an average week, just ballpark?
Probably about maybe an hour and a half to 2 a week.
Yeah.
I jump
I'll
on.
give you 2 hours. I'll give you 2 hours. Making more offers, how many hours a week?
Probably every few weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not finding what I'm looking for. So
Yeah. So I'll put, maybe just 1 hour, whatever on that. And then on rehab, how many hours are you doing each week? I know it's going to be a big number.
yeah, probably about 30,
Yeah.
32.
Yeah. So, and then your attract more renters to own, how many hours per week?
Well, when the project's ready, I go out and I start advertising. So
Yeah.
it probably usually takes about 30 days to get somebody, 30 to 60.
Yeah. And then in hours, I'm just going to guess that you're maybe investing 4 hours a week on that, on a regular thing.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Something like that. Okay. And so if you look at those hours that you're doing about 90% in rehab,
Exactly.
and 10% in 2 of them are your top 2 high payoff activities. So before I give you kind of a solution on this and some help with this, we need to understand that about time. And so there are 24 hours a day times 7 is 168 hours per week. And I just want to take you through this quick little exercise to understand that all of us have plenty of time. The reason why we don't have time is most of us say, I don't have enough time. And that becomes your friend. And that's so God said, all right, I'll make sure you don't have enough time. And we've said that so many different times. And we told other people, oh, I don't have time for that. And so just think how many times you told your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, the kingdom within, how many times you didn't have enough time. So we're going to start changing that and improving, what your mindset is on time. But 168 hours, if we assume we sleep 8 hours a night, 7 days a week. So we subtract 56 hours out of that. And then if we assume we have let's do 4 hours a day of everything else, kind of like eating and doing the laundry and, whatever. So 4 hours. And again, you can do whatever hours you want. You're going to see you're going to have plenty left over. But 4 hours of that, and so that would be 28 hours. And so you still have 84 hours a week. And so some people say like, oh, I'm working full time at some job, just over broke job, right? Acronym JOB. And so subtract 40 hours, I still got 44 hours left. In other words, God has given us plenty of time, just like God has given us plenty of air. What's the number one thing that our bodies need to survive?
Oxygen.
Exactly. Very good. Number two thing?
Water.
That's
Water.
correct. Water. So oxygen and water. Do you think there's enough oxygen and water in the world? 2/3 of the world is water. Okay. And do you think there's enough air? Like, have you told anybody recently or ever, would you quit breathing so much damn air? Come on, save some for me. So God has given us plenty of air, plenty of water, and guess what? Plenty of time. We're the ones that created not enough time. And then we're doing it backwards. And again, Chad, you're like all, everyone, as far as until we look at this, we realize, my goodness, I'm not doing it. So what's the answer? The answer is it's an acronym, DESC. So DE, S is in Sam, C. And that is for delegate. And that's the first thing Chet said. I need to delegate more of his rehab. So think of what Chet said, because every one of us are in that position, okay, that we know what makes us the most money, but typically we're not doing that makes us the most money. Well, if Chet would get a few people, or whatever it takes, that would delegate to do the rehab, he could switch this all around and switch his wealth all around, literally magically. It could happen within a week, a couple days, a month, whatever, to organize, on the rehab and find people. But you'll find, Chet, that you'll get a great return on investment by getting people started tracking, because I don't know, but you probably haven't been asking, hey, what do I want? Well, I want, and this is one of these desires, okay, these high flying desires is, I want people to do my low payoff activities, and one of them is the rehab. In fact, you probably want to get, I don't know, almost completely out of it, or pretty much out of it, that, you don't want to do that. And so since where all the money is, again, according to what Chet said, but you take a look at your high payoff activities, you'll see you're not engaged in the high payoff activities that you would want to. And then if you would have more time to look for more deals, like lots more time. Like you have 32 hours invested right now, per week, and only 2 hours. And really the highest high payoff activity you have is to look for more deals. And so if you could just change that, just take 20 hours out, okay, and get somebody, or again, I don't know the specifics on what you need, but you just ask Chuck, what do I need? You ask God all it is. You say, show me the way. And what do I need in order to delegate this this rehab work? And so, hearing that, do you think this is feasible to where you could move that needle up a little at looking at more deals?
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
Oh,
just from that perspective that you gave makes it a lot more,
yeah, it's clear.
sense.
Yeah, yeah.
It's control though. Control is, to give up. It's hard to,
Yeah, right. Because you want to do the rehab, and then you know it, and they don't know it, and everything. And so so that's a whole nother thing. And so, but let me get to first that the DESC, the D is for delegate,
Right.
the E is for eliminate. So think of things that you can eliminate, because if you'll fill out this sheet, and again, just every half hour, every hour, whatever, for 2 days, just fill out the sheet and do the best job you can. Doesn't have to be perfect at all, but to get an idea on how you're either spending your time or investing your time. This is an extraordinary investor we're talking about. Well, how do you be an extraordinary investor? That I don't want to spend time, I want to invest time to get a return on investment. And so again, in Chet's example, I want to look at more deals. And so, so the D is for delegate, the E is for eliminate, the S is for simplify. Ask yourself, ask God, how can I make my life simpler? Okay, how can I make my work simpler? What are the answers? What are the solutions to make it? Can I develop a process? Can I use some technology? Can I get somebody else to help me? And then the C is to communicate this. So who to communicate with? Talk to people. Talk to your buddy and say, God darn, you'll be amazed at the answers. I just had a client the other day say, oh, my assistant is really not keeping up with the way the business is growing now. You've grown my business to, their business is like at $60 million. Okay, I've just blown up their business. And they said, you've done it, but my assistant just can't keep up. And I said, well, we probably need to get another assistant. And there was all kinds of resistance on that. Oh no, that, she knows everything. I'll have to retrain somebody, that, I'll have to go through all of this thing. And I said, why is your prayer about everything that you don't want? She was talking about, she was looking at what is and saying, no, this is reality. So I helped her and I said, listen, I want you to know that this is going to flow perfectly for the person that you're going to let go. You're going to actually give them freedom, because they really know they're under it and they're not keeping up and they're not happy in their job. And so she goes, oh no, I think they're happy. I said, just play with this. Just think that this is true. Because she kept on fighting for her lack and limitation. And that's what so many of us do, is we fight for our lack and limitation. So I told her, why don't you just go and start talking to people, your clients, whoever, and just say, hey, I'm looking for a person. So in this example with Chet would be, my counsel to Chet would go and just start talking to people about, hey, I'm looking for some people that can manage my rehab, and maybe that's the question that Chet has. And so back to this example. So she finally, she coaches with me, and so, I had to help her with her mindset, okay? Got her mindset right. The next day, so that was on a Monday. On Tuesday, she sits down for the first time with a client, with anybody, to actually say in the conversation, oh, by the way, I need somebody. The first person she talks to says, you know what? I know an ideal person. She just quit her job because the boss was just bad, and she just said, I leave it to God to give me the perfect job. And she just left, and I think she'd be perfect for this position. And oh, my client said, this is just amazing. This is a miracle. And my client calls me and says, I got a real problem now. How am I going to fire the lady that I have? Okay. And I said, you don't have a problem unless you say you have a problem. Okay. That this is going to all play out well. Just let it go, and just know that just start, onboarding whatever you need to do with this other person, and just know that everything's going to play out right. When you have faith in God and trust in God that everything's going to play out right. She kind of rolls her eyes and said, well, okay. 2 days later, while they're still kind of talking and negotiating with, the new employee, that the old employee stays late and never stays late. And my client says, what do you, what's going on? Why are you staying late? She goes, well, I just want to tell you that I really want to leave this job. In other words, she didn't have to fire her. Okay. Everything went bye-bye because I told her to say, hey, everything's going to be taken care of. God will take care of it. And just believe in that and have faith in that. So hopefully the point has come across here on how that you just need to ask for it. You can't be thinking in your own analytical mind, oh, it's too tough. Now, in Chet's case, where he said, I got a hard time letting go. And so I hear you. Chet is an expert at rehab. He knows what he's doing, how to do it, how to buy it, how to build it, and everything else, and he doesn't want to let that go. But Chet, if I ask you, do you think there's somebody that could do pretty darn good in rehab? Not as good as you, but pretty darn good. Do you think that there's somebody out there?
Definitely.
Okay, definitely. That's the answer. Because when you have that, hey, definitely there's somebody out there that can do about as good as job or close to the job that I have. And then if I ask you, Chet, would it motivate you to know that you could now triple your time looking for more deals? Actually, you'd increase your time by tenfold. Because right now 2 hours you're doing. And when I said, let's do 20 hours per week. So you're increasing it by tenfold. What do you think the money would be? Because let's say the rehab had some issues because you're not doing it, it costs a little money here, they don't get quite the deal and everything. Do you believe that you could build your business significantly more by going and attracting, we're attractors, right? We are these magnets, attracting somebody that can do the rehab. You believe that there is somebody out there that could do it, that you could attract them, and that you could do a 10 times more investing and looking at more deals. Do you think your business might grow?
Oh, definitely, exponentially.
Yeah, you bet, you bet. And it might be tenfold, might be more. Because like you said, what I really should be doing, okay, and this is what all of us get caught in this trap, what I really should be doing, but what happens is we're doing all this minutia stuff. Like I don't do kind of anything, okay? Like I delegate just about everything. And so, I'll write like the recap for us, but if I'm going to send it out or, if I need anything done, if I need the video, here's a perfect example. I don't deal with the video at all. Okay. This video, when I get it, I send it to one of my assistants and they make it look pretty and put extraordinary investor in the front and the back, and, clean it up a little and they send it back to me. I don't do any of that stuff. Like people say, how do you have the time? I have all the time in the world. Why? Number one, because I say I got all the time in the world. Okay. And then number two is that I've learned on how I'm only going to do what I'm good at. You know what I'm good at? I'm right in the middle of it right now. And I love it. And to do what you love. And this is what I love. And because I love it, that's why I'm good at it. And I've helped, thousands of people. I'm going to help thousands more people. And I'm going to have more and more fun and meet wonderful people like every one of you. I just love you guys. I really do. And, like I'm looking at, I see in our picture, we have some people that don't have the video on, but Chad, I just love on how honest you are. Ross, I love your heart, your big heart. Russell, I love on how you're just going together. And Helica, I just love on how, here you are, you want to become an investor and, and do more, not just these deals here, but, you want to be the investor, if you will, and really be, engaged in all of that. And you're angelic as well, because not just because your name is Angelica, and so that's how easy this is. And so now, Chet, how are you feeling about? Do you think you could make some movement towards this now?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Okay. Great. And Ross, what are your thoughts about? Were you able to kind of be thinking a little about your high payoff activities? And do you think that there's some improvements you could do with how you're investing in high payoff activities?
I do, but you got me thinking about really, I'm looking for someone to work with. So I have to put it out there.
That's right.
And-
That's right.
yeah.
So tell me a little about who you want to work with, because you do need clarity. You know, Russell asked, hey, how specific? But you do want clarity. Like, I just don't want to work with somebody. I want to work with somebody that I really enjoy, that is great, is an expert at, you know, and whatever that is. So who are you looking for, Ross? Can you put more clarity around that?
I'm looking for someone who also is interested in real estate investing,
Okay.
maybe like me, who has lots of time. Um, and is interested in doing, you know what, I have to clarify this for myself.
Yeah.
Because I just came into my mind right now that I would love to be working with someone and not alone. Someone
Beautiful.
who would also be looking at properties, who would also
Yeah.
running through the numbers and,
Yeah. So I want you, so it's important for all of you that have had the light bulb go off on something like Ross says here. It's important, imperative, you write it down. So you've been given the magic right now on, hey, here's the solution on to help you become happier. Remember, we do everything really just to feel better. And so we want all the money, we want all the investments, we want the portfolio, you know, we want the relationship, all of that stuff is so that we can feel better. The reason why, when we feel better, we're actually more connected with God, because God feels great and is sitting up here, but usually with our analytical mind, we're thinking about what we don't want. So for you, Ross, if you'll write that down and then ask, where is this ideal person of mine? Where is this person that, you know, has lots of time, that wants to, you know, look for different condos, you know, all of that type of thing. And that, because I'll tell you, there is a business partner out there and a friend. Okay, you don't want him just to be a partner, you want him to be a friend. And so to have this just amazing relationship and attract this wonderful person. And so I just gave the example on how this one client of mine, you know, attracted this just amazing person that you can too. And you have the power. We all have the power to get it and have it the way we want it. And it's all a matter of getting our heads straight on this and then understanding these desires. So what you guys have done today is you've really looked at, hey, what do I desire? And Ross, I can tell that you love that idea about having a business partner and friend, you know, and someone that is in real estate, has lots of time, that is helpful, that grows your business. But you want to write down and literally write down everything you want in this person. I help people that are single find their soulmate. Okay. And the way that I do that is, because you can use this on anything, is so an example is that I'll give you my example. My that I was looking for, you know, just this ideal woman that, you know, was didn't have, like, wasn't real attached to the kids or whatever. Like, I didn't want to have, you know, a bunch of kids running around. I already had the kids running around, and so I wrote down everything, the physical attributes, how they were, that they were spiritual, that they had a good big heart, you know, and everything. And within so this was because I had, you know, other stuff going, whatever, but within 6 months, that ideal person came into my life. And I have examples of all kinds of people that I have helped, but they write down the specific, you know, they're 6'1", they're dark, handsome, you know, have a big heart, you know, whatever, that you write that down. They got lots of money, you know, whatever. And so in this case, a business partner, and in Chet's case, a rehab business partner, okay, that you write down. And so for all of us now, write down, hey, what is that, you know, resource to delegate, eliminate, simplify, communicate? What is that, and then write down the specifics. Again, in Chet and Ross's, it's hey, you're looking for, basically business partners, and, in some type of way, when I use partner loosely, you hire them or whatever, especially on the Chet side. But you start calling forth what you want and know that they're there, and that you will be led, and one thing will lead to the next thing for you in order to get that. Now, because of time, we only have a few minutes left, but Russell and Helica, Danny, did you guys have any thoughts on that? Have kind of the light bulb came off? Did you have a comment or question about? Russell, where were you?
I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
This makes perfect sense, and I've got examples from my own life of how this has actually happened.
Yes.
Could you share some of the things that you do to flip the switch from focusing on what you don't want to focus on what you do want? And I say that, I've got a couple of kids, they're going off to college. There's all sorts of woes that they must live through on their own and whatever else. There are things in the business that come across. But so whilst I know I have that part of my brain going, this other one sort of raises its head, and I need a quick shuttle valve. I need a way to kind of turn it off fast.
Yeah. Okay. So consider this, consider what this is. And we all have that. And I call it the committee. So imagine it in your head here. And imagine that you have set up a beautiful mahogany executive meeting table with executive chairs at every one of these at this table. Okay. And they're big, beautiful leather chairs. And they're just this committee. And here's the committee members. It's worry, doubt, complaining, blaming, shame, guilt. But the top one, kind of really at the head of the table, there's two. One is fear. Everything is fear, false evidence appearing real, as far as what gets in our way. If there's any devil, it's this committee, and the head of the committee is fear. Also kind of sitting next to fear is the judge, and judges you on you weren't a very good dad. Just about every parent in the world has guilt about their children. Yeah. All you need to do is birth them into this world, and you're done. And I know you guys say, oh, but it's this poor little baby. Hey, when the baby comes home, who's running the household? Okay. The baby, it goes, well, it gets fed, it doesn't have to go to the bed, it doesn't have to do anything, it just hangs around. And so your kids, you lowered your vibration when you go, oh, and I got these kids thing, that they are their own, and they're their own creators. Okay, we're here to create, and everything is playing out just fine for them. The best thing you can do for your kids is send them love and well-being. That's it. If you send them worried, oh, I'm worried about my kids, what are you sending them? They end up worried. And then you just end up like your parents, and they end up like you, and and it goes on, and it's a cycle, and we're a bunch of worry words. So you want to get off of all of that.
Yeah.
And so recognize, so this is the committee, okay? You made the mahogany table, the big, the nice, comfortable chairs. They're sitting in there, and they're the only devil that there is. That's the only, the little devil guy that runs around with the thing. Well, hell, they're all sitting at that table, okay? And the cool thing is, and this gets directly to your point, is simply refer to them now as they're just the committee. They don't have any power over me. And pay attention to how you feel. And when you don't feel good, and like, oh, those kids, or, oh, the business, that right when that happens, that what you do is you say, this is what I don't want. It's just the committee. It's what I don't want. And so again, the reason why I make it a person, kind of like the money person, everything, is because we're used to this physical body, and so we kind of have to imagine it, with physical things. So you just tell the committee that this is only the committee. This is what I do not want, and then you ask, what do I want? and it will give you relief instantly as you turn the other cheek. This is what the meaning of turn the other cheek is. And you start asking, what do I want? Wow, I want my kids to be happy and healthy and wealthy and live a long life. I send that to them. That's the most powerful thing you can do. None of your advice or any of this crap is any good. They're not going to take it anyways, right? That, it's just like with us. Oh, my dad doesn't know. And then we get older and then we say, oh, I guess maybe he did. It's too late, whatever. That, or he probably didn't know. Actually, the only person that knows what's right for your kids is your kids.
Yeah.
And the only person that's right for you, Russell, is you. I can't be telling you, hey, you should have this desire. I can help you to get you your desire, but I never tell you what your desire is.
Right.
So if you will just, whenever something happens where you get a little pissed off, where you get a little irritated, where, oh, here we go again. First thing to do, breathe deeply. It connects you with your source. And just breathe deeply, say to yourself, relax. It's not a big deal. This is the committee. This is what I don't want. I'm not going to put a charge in this because I don't want any more of this crap. Okay. And then I ask, what do I want? God, tell me, what do I want? Wow, I want my kids to have well-being. I want my business to grow and to flourish. And when you start running with that, just write that, and you can start writing down all the different ideas you have, because writing it down, and one of the reasons why I asked all of you to write it down is the importance of writing it down. It helps to get into that subconscious mind of ours and to be able to create, because that in essence is everything that's being created with the subconscious mind. And so it is a way to improve your life and to get focused on what you do want versus what you don't want. So is that helpful?
Yeah, very much so. Thank you.
Great. All right. Well, listen, guys, we are just about, you can review those other pages that I sent you. And they're about your prosperity picture and just rate though your relationships, your health. It's a great exercise. Your business. It's kind of like what I did with Chet. It's kind of went through, hey, what's important to you? And then how much, time are you doing? Well, this you can actually put in your prosperity picture and say, hey, where do I want these items? Do I want it sooner, later? Do I want less money, more money? And, or is it costing me money, under the less money? But complete that. And then with that, I'll send you a recap of this. Any other further questions, comments before we leave?
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. It's been fantastic. Next week, same time, same place, same link. We'll be doing attracting your ideal clients. And so you're going to start attracting those clients that you want. And Russell is going like, yes. Let's all do that. Yes. Can you all do that? Yes. Money. Easy money. Easy life. So that's great, guys. And next week, we'll attract all those wonderful clients and take a look at those high payoff activities. We really get focused in now on what you want. Get those business partners, those people. They are there waiting for you. And it's an answer to their prayer for you to ask. So you just need to be out there and ask. Okay?
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Dr. Hank.
Love you all.
Love
Take
you.
care.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Dr. Hank. Bye.